Welcome to BFS TV, powered by Business Finishing School. If you're in business, you need Business Finishing School. I'm Matt Monero. This is founder of Business Finishing School, my buddy Rick Sapio. We bring you unique content told to you in a blue-collar, straightforward way that anyone in business can absorb, because Rick and I are unbelievably passionate about helping small business owners install simplicity, probability, and leverage into their businesses. It is the missing equation that create this nightmare for tens of millions of business owners. And we exist within Business Finishing School to try and change that. It is our mission with Business Finishing School to stop the madness. Remember the old lady, Susan Powder, on the infomercials, and she would say, "Stop the madness," with her physical thing. Remember she had the blonde spiky hair? We want to stop the madness in small business, and we have the program. It's called Business Finishing School. Today's episode, we're going to talk about something so simple that almost never gets done. We call it in our module, in our training, online training academy, we call it the Stop Doing List. Take it away, Rick.
This is about how your ability to say no will transform your life and your business. And here's the thing. I was with Stuart Emery, the co-author of my book, and he has a high-up relationship inside Apple. Johnny Ives was a friend of his, and he interviewed him for a book. And Johnny Ives said the thing that was so incredible about Steve Jobs is he never stopped saying these words. And I'm going to repeat what Steve Jobs said. He said, "I am much more proud of the thousands of things that we said no to than the handful of things we said yes to." And Apple said no to thousands of things. I'll say another quote, Warren Buffett. "The difference between successful people and extremely successful people is that extremely successful people say no to almost everything, and they only say yes to things that completely align with their objectives and their values." Okay, I just told you two quotes from two of the most successful people who ever lived. Why don't we do it? Why do we say yes to everything? Why are we addicted to yes? And you know what? Our kids are addicted to yes because we put them in everything and we burden them. So now we're creating more addicts.
This is a really big deal for such a simple concept. And as we have taught this at our business growth summits, and I taught the last one, and I think and I've taught this many times to a lot of people. What's really important is people need to understand this. If you were to write down, if you broke out two quadrants, and one was your start doing list, the things that you know you need to do, and your stop doing list, what I have found is highly successful people have a hard time filling out their stop doing list and an easy time filling out their start doing list. And less successful people have a very easy time doing their stop doing list and a very hard time doing their start doing list. Here's what I mean. Highly successful people have begun to figure out and stopped doing the low value activities so that they can put their attention on the high value activities that they want to start doing.
And here's why and how. Okay, first of all, what they've realized is their high value activities are the ones that move them further down the field. Okay, now, how do you do that? Well, we're going to tell you about something that we've gone over at every single one of the 14 Business Growth Summits. It's a really simple exercise. I want you to imagine first, before I get into the exercise, tomorrow morning, if when you woke up at 4:30 a.m., I followed you around with a video camera. What I know, because there's people, Tony Schwartz did this, he actually followed executives around. What he found out is that 80% of what you do on a daily basis is a complete and total waste of time.
Hold on, I want to scroll through my Facebook feed. Hang on a minute, let me let's see. I need to make more money. I'm a little behind in my retirement account. The kids' college is underfunded, but let me keep scrolling through my Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so ridiculous. It's the first thing most people do when they wake up is they reach for their telephone and they scroll through Facebook. Think about what that's feeding our brains, this silliness, this garbage that is controlled by someone else. We don't even control what's on our social media feeds anymore. And not to go on a negative tangent here, but think of what it's doing to our children.
Absolutely.
We at least had the ability to come up without it. They don't know anything different.
This is kind of an interesting story. It's personal, but I never had a TV as an adult. So when I left the house at 17, till when I got married at 43, never had a TV. And my wife said, you know, we really need a TV in the house, which it was like noisy. I hated it. So one year on New Year's, I said, honey, what do you think about cutting the cable cord? And she said, you know what, I'll do it for you. And it's so peaceful. You've been at my house. My house is peaceful. And that's what I want. I want my kids to grow up in a peaceful environment. I do want to share with you, though, what super successful people do. And it's, I use my hand to demonstrate. Super successful people realize that you really can only have about 5 priorities in life. I mean, think about it. Right now,
You're not talking about in your work or your business or for the quarter. You're talking about in your life. Right. 5 things that we need to actually focus on. I couldn't agree with you more. And I mean, I've seen the module and I've been part of it and done it myself. I couldn't agree with you more. But do you have your 5 figured out? You probably don't even have your first primary figured out, let alone your 5. But could you imagine if you took the time, came to our summit in February, bfssummit.com, and you just did this one exercise?
Transformational. So let me share it for me personally, because I want you to hold me accountable. If you followed me around with a video camera, I would say 90% of my waking hours are on one of these 5 things. And when I'm off, I feel off. I'm like, ooh, maybe I'm out of balance. So the first thing is being a great husband. I didn't say being a great husband and a great father. We have 4 young kids, my wife and I. But if I'm a great husband first, being a great father follows that. So being a great husband, number 1. Number 2, health and fitness. I work out almost every day. I try to eat right. I say try. I'm not perfect there, but it is definitely on my mind. I journal about it. I meditate about it. I pray about it. I think about it. Health and fitness. My third thing is my purpose work. And purpose work is, my purpose is to inspire entrepreneurship. And I put everything inside that that's work related, because this right now, you and I talking, this is purpose, right?
Sure.
My 4th category is learning and development. I love to read. I like to go to conferences.
Voraciously, you do.
Yeah. He saw my bedroom. It's crazy how many books I have on my nightstand. And then the last thing is key relationships. And my wife said, well, where's God in all that? And God created my hand, so I put him right in the center. But here's the thing. If I'm on life, I'm only doing one of those 5 things. And right now, talking to you is me doing purpose work. So here's the thing. If you follow me around with a video camera, I hope what you'll see is that 80% of the time I'm doing one of those things. And most of the time it's 100%. Right? If you think about it.
Look, what else is there to do? I mean, how many high value activities can a person have? 50? No. And how many low value activities can a person have? 50? Yes.
Yep. It's all about how you prioritize your time. So this is up to you. You have to say what you want each one of your digits on your finger to stand for, and then you got to follow through. You know the best ways? I got this guy holding me accountable. You've got to get somebody holding you accountable to what you say are your priorities. The guy I started this conversation with, who lived in another city, who I visited, that was 10 years ago. And 10 years later, guess what? He's nowhere. Why? He couldn't commit to his 5 priorities.
Look, I like to say that the only time is your friend is in compound interest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's always after you chomping at it. So the stop doing list is what we've talked about here. The reality is you need to figure out what you have to stop doing so that you can fix that stuff, so then you can work on your start doing list and constantly update it with new stuff that makes you uncomfortable and challenges you. You get all of this at businessfinishingschool.com. Come to our summit, bfssummit.com, February 22, 23, 24, 2019 in Dallas, Texas. If you're in business, you need Business Finishing School.